Hello. Welcome to the Veterinary Ledger Podcast, where we dive into the business of veterinary medicine. So each week we are exploring strategies, insights, and stories that help practice owners, managers, and their teams run thriving, efficient, and profitable clinics, because that's what we all need, right? We're trying to do this without losing sight of the pets and the people that care for them, which is all of you. Whether you're looking for practical tips, expert advice, or a fresh perspective on veterinary business, you have come to the right place. I will say that I am super excited to have Lisa Slosse here. She is a new practice owner from Baytown, Texas. So in my backyard, Lisa and I met at the Patterson GPS event. So that was this summer. She opened, 2 months ago?
September. So we'll be September, October, November, December, like 4 months now.
Almost 4 months. Wow. Look at you. Okay. Lisa, tell us what got you started?
So as a child, because that's where it all starts for most of us, right? Always just super interested in animals, loved animals, everything about animals. I think the medicine part came later on. I, for a second, thought I wanted to go to human med. Yeah, they're gross, right? But then kind of ended up in vet med, and from the first month or two into my classes and lessons, I just realized that was where I needed to be, and that was what my goal was in the end. So that's where it kind of started. School, the first year was a little hard for me. High school was easy for me, so I thought the rest would be kind of easy too, but then I realized I really had to study and do the work, and so the first year wasn't the greatest, but then I caught up. I did actually go to school in Belgium, so that's a little bit different too. I grew up and graduated in Belgium, so school is different over there too. We don't do undergrad, we go straight into vet school, and so we do 3 years bachelor and then 3 years master. And so the curriculum kind of changed while I was in school too, so I ended up doing 7 years, but I really enjoyed it. I did kind of halfway through, I guess I was in my 4th or 5th year, realized that my future probably was not in Belgium, but was in the United States. And so that's when I started thinking about, okay, what are the next steps that I need to take to be able to be a veterinarian in the US? And so for me, being at a non-AVMA accredited school, that meant that I had to go through the ECFEG procedure accreditation. That was a lot. So I think I started that process in 2019. Started thinking about it in 2019. The process I could only start once I graduated, which was in 2020. And it consists of first an English proficiency exam, which kind of I thought was a waste of time because
not for everyone though.
Right. That's true. And then, theoretical exams. And then once you pass that, you can do the NAVLE. And then once you do that, the hardest part for me were the clinical proficiency exams, which is clinical stuff. So I got to fly to Vegas for that. So at least I got to kind of combine it with something fun too. I did have to resit 2 of those exams. So that was a lot of stress too down the line, but ended up passing those. And I do think all the extra work that I had to put into that has made me a better doctor in the end. Just stronger, the more you learn things, the more it stays with you. So I do think as hard as it was, I'm grateful for that process. Yeah. And then started working
practice as all in Belgium?
Yes, but it was kind of more part-time in between studying. Oh yeah. My biggest focus was definitely studying to pass my exams, but what better way to study than to actually be doing the things,
right?
And also just to have an income. It was nice to also be working. Yeah. My first summer out of school was quite intense. I immediately did a maternity leave relief.
Okay.
It was a clinic with the doctor. He owned it, and then he had an associate working for him, and so she went on maternity leave, and I filled in for her. And then a week in, he was like, okay, and now I'm going on holiday. And so I was alone for 2 weeks. So
as a new baby doctor.
Yes, would not recommend.
Okay. Out by fire. Okay, and so then you moved here?
Yes. Worked for an associate for 3 years. And then I guess during that, started thinking about the future again. I had a baby. And then when I had her, I actually had started thinking about starting a practice before I had her. My mind kind of, I don't want to say changed, but I guess I was a little bit it was a weak moment. Then I'm like, I don't know if I can do the baby at the clinic at the same time. I was also like 1 or 2 weeks postpartum, so what else goes through your head at that time. But I was able to kind of convince myself that the biggest reason to maybe do it was for her. Because, like, how cool is that not to be able to say, like, oh, that's my mom's clinic, and just being able to come here. And also now already, like, she'll come by and she loves the animals. Like, we kind of have to stop her because she'll just run straight up to the dogs in the kennels. I'm like, they may, I don't know if they will bite you, but they may.
So she's what? She's a year and a half? She's just, yeah.
So okay. Probably a future vet too, right?
Oh, that's a long runway for an associate, but that's okay.
Yeah. No. But yeah, it's really fun to see that too. But yeah, the practice idea, started playing around with that. And then I guess it was a lot of work in the beginning. So it started really with reaching out to a bank that wanted to give me a loan. And so I did work with Provide. They've been wonderful through the whole everything for me. I would work with them again for sure. They made everything very easy. I knew what I had to do through the whole underwriting process. So that was step 1. And then step 2 was finding a lease space. So I did decide to go with the lease space.
Mm-hmm.
So had my broker find me spaces, and I would go by with my 1-month-old and look at these spaces until I found something, which was the location I'm at right now. So Garth Animal Hospital on Garth Road. Yeah, it's not the most original name, but everybody in Baytown knows where Garth is. And I thought that was probably the better thing to go with than choosing a name that maybe resonated more with me.
Sure. Well, you have your logo too. You want to talk about your logo?
Yes. My logo. I love my logo. Let me see if do people see me?
We do. We have YouTube, so people can see you.
So my logo.
There you go. Yep.
It is the face of my heart dog, Murphy. So I love him so very dearly. He's not here with me today.
Easy to love.
He usually comes. Yeah. All my texts refer to him as the boss because he's the boss man here. But yeah, so we based that off of his beautiful blockhead. And so it's fun to be able to see that on everything too. And for the future, it's going to be nice that that's always going to be something I have.
Perfect. Yeah. So tell me, like, what was how long was the process between getting the loan, finding the property, and then doors opening?
So I think I signed my loan in February of 25. Yes. Yeah, I'm like,
hard to know where we are in life.
Was that? Yeah. And this year or last year it's gone by fast. Like, yeah, it's just gone so. I can't imagine, or I can't believe that it's already been 4 months. It's been a lot, but it's been really fun. So yeah, in February I signed the loan, and then I guess the location we found, we already had our eyes on the location. Actually, before that, we were negotiating the lease. Yes, that's actually how it went. So we had found the location, I think, in November or December, and that's when we started negotiating. Because first you have to go through the LOI, make sure that like what we want is what the landlord also like wants. And then once we had the loan, I think that's when we went and spoke with a lawyer to get the lease, actually make sure that that's makes sense and works for me. And I would recommend anybody to have a lawyer or attorney and go over those things, because he helped us with a lot of stuff there that I would have never even thought of. So that was a big part. Then I guess in March we finished that. And then the next step was looking for a general contractor, which was also a lot because you want to compare things. And so we went and looked at a couple of different people and ended up working with Jay Green. Now, the nicest thing, in my opinion, about having to go look for different general contractors was also the context that I made through them, because I would ask people for references. And so I was able to go visit doctors in different places, also practice owners, and I have them in my contacts, and I'll text them every now and then about very random things. And it's something that I love about like the veterinary community. Like, you can be radio silent for months and just send some most random question, and nobody cares. It's like you just answer the question and continue.
Right, we're all busy, so it's nice just to jump in.
All busy but supportive. Yeah, it's a good mix. Exactly. So then construction started in May, and was done in September. So it was really amazing to see this space, which used to be a floor and interior design thing, just be kind of gutted and then see my building go up. Yeah, it was really exciting. It was nerve-wracking at the same time because it's construction, and I think everybody will tell you construction is never going to go the way you plan. And there were some little hiccups, and luckily we got those figured out. One of the biggest ones was the FRP. So FRP is like the plastic that covers half the wall, and it's really good because it protects your paint. Well, the paint's not there, but it protects the wall for blood, urine, whatever else that animals have. But I initially didn't like the way it looked because it was very glossy. And so we had made the decision to flip it to the matte side. And then when it went up and I saw it everywhere, I was like, that's not what it should be. But it's stuck to your walls. Like you can't just take it off. And so that was a nerve-wracking week to figure out what to do with that. Luckily, we came to the conclusion that we could just stick it on top of there. And now the FRP is there and I don't look twice at it anymore. And so it's these small things that as building's going, you pay such close attention to the details of every little change, but in the end, the details are important, but they're not at the same time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you've made thoughtful choices too. So what I love, you're so enmeshed and you practice such thoughtful medicine. You're really into fear-free. So what did that mean as you were building, as you were planning your practice? How did you incorporate your fear-free techniques?
I would have loved to incorporate more fear-free in my practice, but I was very limited with space. And so what I have done to make fear-free work as best as possible is I do have a separate room for cats. So if they need to board or kennel or hospitalize or anything like that, I have a separate room for them just because they don't like the smell of dogs or the barking and all that kind of stuff. So we could put them separate in the isolation/cat room. But one of the most fun things I think about my practice is that we have a cat room. It's one of our front rooms. It has a big window, and actually there's like trees in front of it. And I recently bought a bird feeder that I can put up there so that the cats have something to look for. I have a cat tree in there too. So I think that's really fun because I do feel like cats often get forgotten, and they shouldn't. So that's construction-wise the biggest things that I was able to do. If ever I get to a point where I get to build everything, I'd probably like really have a cat only and dog only part of the building just to keep them completely separated. But with the space I had, it wasn't feasible.
What about so you also do exotics. So where do your exotics go? Cat room, dog room?
Cat room. It's because of the window with the sun. We're in Texas. It's hot here. It's a good warm room for especially for the reptiles that get chilly sometimes here.
So what's throughout the process, you're 4 months in, what's been the most surprising thing for you as a practice owner?
How quickly everything has gone. I did not expect to grow this fast. I mean, I had made some like business plans and everything, and I had thought that 2 years in I'd have a full schedule and be busy, be able to look for an associate at that time, but it's just boomed real quickly. I don't know if it's the location, if it's the marketing that we've been doing, if it's just me.
It's you.
My technicians are amazing as well. I've got some amazing girls that work with me, and yeah, it's gone really well. I went from the first week of having 2 technicians to then the first month having a CSR join me. So then we were with the 4 of us. I very quickly realized that I had to have another person join. So we went to 4 technicians. And then I guess last week or this week, I'm trying to make sure that I don't forget anybody, but this week I had a licensed technician join my team. And then the most exciting is going to be a practice manager that starts with me next week.
Yeah. That's so exciting. I mean, that's huge. That's just such like exponential growth so quickly.
Yeah. Yes. And I actually also put out an ad for an associate. So I would love for somebody to come help me because I've been doing pretty much some double schedules lately too, which are amazing problems to have, but it's been a lot. One of the things that we also try to do to get more clients come in is we are open Saturdays because there's not a lot of clinics that are open Saturdays, and so I am putting in the work, but it's working for me. So
when you get the practice manager and we hopefully get an associate, what it gives you back some more time, what will you do with that time? Where refocus that?
Probably try and be home with my baby. Yeah. Have some more time with her.
Yeah.
And then maybe, yeah, go on some vacations. That would be nice
We're
too.
gonna laugh at that. We're gonna put that on back burner for. So we talked about the wall, like the plastic wall was a change. Anything you would change looking back and say like, oh, I would have done that differently?
I'm probably, with how I'm growing now, I probably need some more office space. I don't know where I'd put it, but yeah, that's something that we'd probably need. So as you can see, I'm in my office now, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I don't have any white walls. My base color for my clinic is purple, and then the accents are blue and yellow and a darker purple, and I think that's super fun. It's definitely something that I want to continue doing, and I'd say to anybody opening their own clinic, like, make it as fun as you want it to be. It doesn't, just because it's not your typical clinical colors doesn't mean that it can't still be professional. Make it somewhere that is fun for you, that you walk in and you think, wow, this is a really fun place to be. And that's kind of what I did with my practice. And just the bright colors make, I think, everybody feel happier. So that, but you were asking about things that I would change. I started small because in my thought process, you can always expand and get more stuff. It's harder to take it back or unspend it. So I don't think I made a mistake with starting smaller. May it cost more in the end? Maybe, but I think it's a safe way of going.
Have you had like a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the adult in the room, like this is mine?
Yeah, it happens quite often, especially when people are like, oh, can you check this? Can you check? And then I'm trying to do my job, which is not just being a doctor anymore. The review, when I have to review my staff, that's a moment that I'm like, okay, I've never done that before. Don't get taught those things. And so that sometimes is like big girl pants moment, that because I have a very good relationship with my technicians, we're very friendly with one another, but the reviews are still different. Cause yeah, it's, if they don't grow, then where do we go, kind of situations. And so I want to be constructive in a positive manner always, without, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, and I haven't had to. We've always had very good conversations, but I think that's probably kind of the hardest part. And then also, just having to deal with all the practice stuff together with the medical stuff. That's I think being the hardest part for me, is combining it and doing it all, which is why there's people like you or my practice manager who's going to come help me get that sorted.
So many hats, right? Yeah. And I think like it'll be fun in a year from now to have the same conversation and see what plans you have in place and what roles she's taken on and all of that.
Yeah.
So that'll be,
I agree,
a fun adventure. Have you had any moments of like, oh, this is why I'm doing it? Like, I know you did a pyrometer yesterday, you're getting busier and you're working in these things. And I think people are coming to you that are, because you're kind of surrounded by a lot of corporate clients too. So
yes, I am. And I think people are happy to come to somebody who's privately owned. We all like small businesses, right? So it's nice. And yeah, I have had moments where I've had people, I think the biggest one that kind of gives me that feeling was on a Saturday. We're supposed to be open from 9 to 12. We've never been open from 9 to 12. It's always longer. They're always longer days. And then in this case, it was a pyometra who had gone to an emergency and been diagnosed the night before, but they didn't have the funds to be able to do that over there. And they drove 2 hours to come to me, and I did it. And it was just a good feeling because the dog's doing great. And it's nice to know that, like, we did save that patient. And yeah, so it's, you give up some of your Saturday, but it's worth it. It is worth it.
And, and it'll balance out too. You'll always have the emergencies, but when you have a bigger...
It's only 4 months right now too, right?
It's so hard to believe.
In the long run,
yeah,
I won't even remember that.
Yeah. I want to go back to Fare Free before we end this, because I think it's so important. And I think that there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't have the budget for peanut butter for everybody. Like, what would you say if there's one or two things that they could incorporate easily that would make a huge difference? Like, what are your go-tos?
Definitely the treats. We have, I think, like 4 different types of treats in each room. Like, I think, like, our dogs get the milk bows, pepperonis, we have peanut butter and cheese. And then for cats, we have chews, we have temptations, and then we'll try cheese sometimes too, because some cats love cheese. I think it's fun that you can vaccinate cats without having to even hold them. I think scruffing is not something that is a first line thing to do, even a second or a third line. I think there are so many other things. We've been working here for 4 months, so we haven't scruffed a single cat. And we've dealt with spicy cats. I think that starting, maybe even just looking at the Fear Free website, they have so many good things that you can, resources on there to look at, and just starting and educating yourself on what other manners or doing things are. Less is best. I do believe that with a lot of pets, and we of course need to stay safe ourselves. Like, yes, our safety goes first, but I think that owners can sometimes really appreciate us doing that little bit of an extra to make sure that their pet is not fearful or isn't being handled in a way. That's kind of what I started doing Fear Free, is because there were instances that I was like, if that was my dog, I would be upset. And so I'm not going to treat somebody's dog like that, or somebody's cat. Like, I'm going to treat them like they are my own. I'm going to be like, the limits I go to is what I think I would be okay with my own being with. But if that's not doable, like, there's drugs, there's sedatives, there's things we can do. And so I think, yeah, get some cat burritos. Those work wonderfully. You can get them on Amazon. Yeah.
I think too, and clients don't necessarily know Fear Free by name, but they know their pet's happy to come see you. They know that there's not 5 people with their hands on them. I think that they like pick up on the differences, even if they don't know how to name it.
Yeah, and I've had some really nice instances where people have come to me and that they're like, this is the first time that I left the vet's office without crying. And I'm like, that's terrible that you've had these experiences, because it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah. Man, and I've been, I'm 30 years in, so like squish them in the door. I mean, there's all sorts of things that people did. Like, really, just don't trim its nails. Just leave it be. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a dental, and then we can do a nail trim or something like that. Like, those are,
It's come a long way. And amazing that it's just like, give them treats. What a novel idea that we have to have like a whole webinar.
That's why I needed the FRP on my wall, so I can spray all the cream, all the cheese. Sometimes we'll go in and I was like, oh, there's still some cheese on the wall. I'm sorry.
That's what Murphy can be on the cleanup crew, right? He just comes behind and like cleans up everything.
Just have like Murphy on the closing list. Please lick up the walls. Yeah.
Everyone plays a role.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so if people want to come work with you, if there's a veterinarian out there in the Baytown area that wants to come, how can they find you?
I have a website. It's garthanimalhospital.com. So you can find me there. If you want to email me, info@garthanimalhospital.com is another place that you can find me. Or you can just swing by the clinic. I love having people come by, and we're on Garth Road, 7599 Garth Road. I'd love anybody who is interested to reach out, even if it's just for information or advice. Like I said, one of the biggest things about me starting this was all the doctors that I've met, and I would love to be something like the mentors that I have to somebody else. I think it's exciting. It's fun. I didn't realize I was going to enjoy being a practice owner as much as I have. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if I had to do it all over again, I definitely would. So,
yay. Well, that's good, right? That's the right answer for 4 months in.
Like, it's not regrets. Yeah, no, I'm very happy with how hard I've been working. 100% would do it again.
Good for you. Well, it's certainly paying off, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for all the help that you've given me too. Like, I wouldn't be here without you either.
So it's been a lot of fun. It'll just continue to grow. I'm very excited. Lisa, thank you as always. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.